Well, we've all done it. We've all looked in the refrigerator the day after a really nice Sunday dinner and saw this cold mashed potatoes. And you debate in your head, should I throw it out? I just don't want to look at it. But don't. I'm here to tell you. There is a great way from this Depression era recipe. Save everything and reuse it. It's a leftover makeover. We're going to make good old-fashioned potato cakes. So just take those cold mashed potatoes, throw them in a bowl, set them to the side. Then we're going to take some onion. And again, you can see I have part of an onion in my refrigerator because we don't throw anything out. We're going to do a slice of onion, and you don't want it too thin, but you don't want it really thick either. Does that make sense? That should be an exact science and very clear in your mind right now. So I'm going to take the outer peeling off, slice that in half, and I'm going to dice it up. Now, again, it's not a super fine dice because you want a little bit of a bite left in it. Now, these are going to cook inside the potato cake itself, so they will become softer with just a hint of a bite to it. And it just imparts such great onion flavor into those potatoes. Mashed potatoes are like a sponge. They soak up every flavor you throw at them. And these are so stinking good. If you've never made potato cakes, please don't throw away any more mashed potatoes, especially around the holidays. Make them. It reinvents these mashed potatoes into something awesome that your family's going to love and you're going to love. So I decided to use 2 onions. There's no exact measuring here because it depends on the amount of mashed potatoes that you have left over. And since we're not throwing any out, if I measure 3 cups and you got 3.5, you're going to throw away a half a cup. So what I like to do is, especially in the beginning, I like to mix as I go. So I'm just going to give it a quick turnaround. And you can see these mashed potatoes, albeit that they're cold, are quite stiff. So we're going to add things to it that's going to loosen them up some. And, oh, you just wait. The first thing we're going to add is sour cream, about a tablespoon. And again, I'm just going to give it, this one just a quick wee little stir. Nothing major. Horseradish. Horseradish. You ever put horseradish in mashed potatoes before? It's just a teaspoon. This, as you know, horseradish packs a punch. That's why you only use a small amount. And it's not that detectable in this. It just gives a hint, a good hint. Now, to loosen up these stiff potatoes, we're going to add 2 eggs. The eggs will do 2 things. One, it'll loosen up your mashed potatoes. And secondly, it's going to act as a binder to hold them together. Because once they get loose, if you did not have eggs in here, they would fall apart and turn into a hot mess once they hit the hot oil. And it would not be anything good whatsoever. So we're just going to incorporate these 2 eggs. And you can see right now my mashed potatoes are starting to loosen up nicely. But we're not done with the flavors. No, we're not done with these flavors. These things are so stinking good. I'm telling you. You're going to have to trust me on this. Trust the fat guy. We know what we're talking about here. So we're going to salt and pepper to taste. Keep in mind that we're only adding a little bit because they're already salt and pepper when you made them yesterday or whenever you made them. Next, we're going to add a little bit of cheddar cheese. Don't go too heavy because you don't want it sinking and making them heavy. You want to keep them light. That's Parmesan. Oh, yeah. I use probably less than a 1/4 cup of it. So I'm going to stir it all together. Doesn't it look like I'm churning something like, from medieval times? Hey, these are old-fashioned. Once I get these incorporated, then we're going to go over and we're going to go to the stove and we're going to have some fun. Oh, but not before I add the final ingredient, self-rising flour. Now, why self-rising? Why not all-purpose? I'm throwing in 2 teaspoons. The reason for this is they already have some leavening agent inside self-rising flour. So that's going to keep them fluffy and they're not going to flatten out and turn into very dense hockey pucks. They're super light, super fluffy, and full of flavor. So once I get this all mixed together well, we're going to go right over to the stove. Well, I already have a skillet on with the heat on medium to medium high and oil getting good and hot. Now you'll see, once I initially add this, it automatically starts to fry, and that's what you want. That way, the hotness of the oil, it cooks right away and it retards the potatoes from soaking it up. So what I do is I take my wooden spoon with a little of the potato mixture and I stick it in there. If it fries right away, I know my oil is ready. So you're going to let these cook for a while until around the corners they get golden brown. Then you want to flip them quick and lightly give them a press down. Not heavy. You're not trying to squeeze them out. Super light. Treat it with respect. You don't want to punch the air out of it. And once you flip them over and they look golden delicious like this, GBD, golden brown delicious, we're going to cook the other side for a few minutes less than we did the first side. Then I'm going to remove them from the oil, put them on a foil lined cookie sheet that I put a rack in. That's going to allow the oil to drip off. I'm going to stick it in the oven for about 200 degrees to keep them warm until dinner's ready. And then we're going to put them on a pretty blue plate and chow down. Check it out.
Yummy, yummy. Let's cut into this bad boy. That self-rising flour should make it a little pillow of heaven. Mmm. Mmm. The onions provide that great flavor, a little crunch. All that extra flavors are coming through. Hey, I hope you try this. Use those leftovers up. Let's do a makeover. Have a good day.